Imagine effortlessly remembering facts, formulas, and concepts. Picture yourself confidently tackling exams and effortlessly absorbing new information. This isn't a dream, it's the power of effective study techniques. Mastering your studies isn't about spending countless hours hunched over books. It's about working smarter, not harder. By employing proven methods for memorization and comprehension, you can unlock your learning potential and achieve academic success. This essay will equip you with powerful tools to transform your study habits. We'll explore techniques for rapid recall, strategies for deep understanding, and practical tips to make learning both effective and enjoyable. Get ready to embark on a journey toward becoming a more efficient and confident learner.
Our brains are incredible organs, capable of storing vast amounts of information. They are like supercomputers, processing and retaining data at astonishing speeds. However, simply reading or hearing something doesn't guarantee it will stick. Passive learning methods often fall short when it comes to long-term retention. To truly memorize information, we need to engage our brains in active recall. This means actively stimulating our memory rather than passively absorbing information. One powerful technique is spaced repetition. This method is highly effective for long-term retention. This involves reviewing material at increasing intervals. By spacing out your study sessions, you can improve your memory retention significantly. Start by recalling information shortly after learning it, then gradually increase the time between reviews. This helps to reinforce the information in your brain. This method leverages the brain's natural forgetting curve, strengthening memories over time. The more you review, the less likely you are to forget. Another effective technique is active recall. This involves actively trying to remember information without looking at your notes. Instead of passively rereading notes, test yourself regularly. This can be done through quizzes, flashcards, or practice questions. Use flashcards, practice questions, or simply try to recall information from memory. This method forces your brain to retrieve information, which strengthens your memory. This active effort to retrieve information reinforces neural pathways, making recall smoother. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. By incorporating these techniques into your study routine, you'll be amazed at how quickly and efficiently you can commit information to memory. With consistent practice, these methods can transform your learning process and enhance your ability to recall information rapidly.
Reading is more than just skimming through words. It's about actively engaging with the material to extract meaning and build comprehension. Start by previewing the text. Skim headings, subheadings, and any visuals to get a sense of the main ideas. Then, as you read, ask yourself questions. What is the author's main point? How does this information connect to what I already know? Highlighting and note-taking are also valuable tools. Don't just highlight everything. Be selective and focus on key concepts. Summarize information in your own words to solidify understanding. Remember, active reading transforms you from a passive recipient of information into an active participant in the learning process.
Facing a mountain of information can be overwhelming. Chunking is a powerful technique to break down complex material into manageable pieces. Our brains naturally group information together. Think about phone numbers. We remember them in groups of digits, not as a long string of numbers. Apply this same principle to studying group-related concepts, formulas, or vocabulary words together. Create outlines, flowcharts, or concept maps to visualize relationships between different pieces of information. By organizing information in a structured way, you'll improve both comprehension and recall.
Section 5 Mnemonics, Memory Boosters for Enhanced Retention. Mnemonics are powerful tools that can significantly enhance your ability to retain and recall information. They work by creating strong mental associations that make the information more vivid and easier to remember. Mnemonics are memory aids that use vivid imagery or associations to make information more memorable. By turning abstract information into something more concrete and visual, mnemonics help anchor the information in your mind. They can be incredibly effective, especially for remembering lists, sequences, or specific facts. Whether you're trying to memorize a grocery list, historical dates, or scientific terms, mnemonics can make the process much easier and more enjoyable. One common mnemonic is the acronym. Acronyms simplify complex information by condensing it into a single, easy-to-remember word or phrase. Take the first letter of each word in a list and create a memorable word or phrase. This technique is particularly useful for students and professionals who need to remember technical terms or lengthy lists. For example, to remember the colors of the rainbow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, think of the name Roy G. Bivav. This simple acronym turns a complex sequence into something much easier to recall. Another effective mnemonic is the method of Loki. This ancient technique leverages spatial memory by associating information with specific locations. This technique involves associating information with specific locations in a familiar place, like your home. By visualizing your home and placing pieces of information in different rooms, you create a mental map that is easy to navigate. Imagine walking through your house and mentally placing each piece of information in a different room. This method not only makes the information more memorable, but also provides a structured way to recall it. To recall the information, simply retrace your steps mentally. This technique can be particularly useful for presentations, exams, or any situation where you need to recall detailed information quickly. Mnemonics tap into our brain's natural affinity for visual imagery and storytelling, making learning more engaging and memorable. By incorporating these techniques into your study routine, you can enhance your retention and make learning a more enjoyable experience.
Section 6. Spaced repetition. Outsmarting forgetting. Forgetting is a natural part of learning. However, we can outsmart our forgetful brains by using spaced repetition. This technique involves reviewing material at increasing intervals, reinforcing memories over time. The key is to review information just before you're about to forget it. Start by reviewing material shortly after learning it, then gradually increase the time between reviews. Use flashcards, spaced repetition software, or simply schedule review sessions in your calendar. The more effort you put into recalling information, the stronger the memory trace becomes. Spaced repetition is a powerful tool for long-term retention, ensuring that information stays fresh in your mind.
Section 7. The Feynman Technique, explaining your way to mastery. The Feynman Technique, named after renowned physicist Richard Feynman, is a powerful method for achieving deep understanding. It's a technique that can be applied to any subject, whether it's physics, history, or even art. The premise is simple. If you can't explain something simply, you don't truly understand it. This means breaking down complex ideas into their most basic components. To use this technique, choose a concept you want to master. It could be anything from a scientific theory to a historical event. Then imagine you're explaining it to a child or someone with no prior knowledge. This forces you to simplify the concept and use plain language. Write down your explanation as if you were teaching it. This process helps you organize your thoughts and identify the core elements of the concept. Identify any gaps in your understanding by noticing where your explanation becomes unclear or incomplete. These gaps are indicators of areas where you need to improve your knowledge. Go back to the source material to fill in those gaps. This might involve reading textbooks, watching videos, or discussing with experts. By explaining concepts in your own words, you force yourself to engage with the material on a deeper level, uncovering any areas where your understanding is shaky. This method not only solidifies your knowledge, but also makes it easier to recall and apply in different contexts.
Section 8. Mind mapping. Visualizing connections for crystal clear comprehension. Mind mapping is a visual note-taking technique that mirrors the way our brains naturally organize information. It involves creating a central idea and branching out with related concepts, keywords, and images. Start by writing the central topic in the center of a blank page. Then draw branches radiating outward, each representing a main subtopic. Use keywords, short phrases, and even images to capture key information. Mind maps are incredibly versatile. Use them for brainstorming, note-taking, summarizing texts, or planning essays. The visual layout helps you see connections between ideas, making complex information easier to grasp.
Section 9. Practical examples and applications. Imagine you're studying for a history exam on World War II. Instead of passively rereading the textbook, try these techniques. chunking break down the war into major battles or theaters of war. Create timelines or flowcharts to visualize the sequence of events. Mnemonics. Use acronyms to remember key leaders, for example, Churchill for Winston Churchill, or important dates, like D-Day for June 6, 1944. Active recall. Test yourself regularly using flashcards or practice questions. Explain key battles or concepts to a friend as if you were teaching them. By applying these techniques, you'll transform your study sessions from passive reading into active learning experiences.
Section 10. Conclusion. Empowering your learning journey. Mastering your studies is a journey, not a destination. By incorporating the techniques outlined in this essay, you can unlock your learning potential and achieve academic success. Remember to engage in active recall, employ spaced repetition, chunk information effectively, and leverage mnemonics and mind maps to enhance comprehension and retention. Don't be afraid to experiment and find what works best for you. The most important thing is to be an active participant in your learning journey. Embrace these techniques and watch as your confidence and academic performance soar.